a little bit mindful of that in about 15 minutes. Let's see here. All right, so we got a number coming out here in about 15 minutes. See how that takes the market. There are the levels for you in the chat, for those of you who might have missed it. They are in the chat right now. And again, we are trading mini S&Ps, looking for opportunities to scalp the market based on the levels we just gave out, in addition to price action opportunities that occur. And anything we talk about in our room here is also taught in a taught experience in our education course. How to find levels, how to trade those price action opportunities as we come quickly up here to the 86 and get a nice quick rotation here off of that level. All right, I like those that have these are the nice ones that give us no problems, right? Again, there's a risk reward situation here where we talk about the first bar is always a little bit more riskier and more volatile. And you can see here, yesterday kind of ran through, and today it's giving us our nice opportunity against the 81st level up here, resistance at 86. So you got to understand the risk, and sometimes it plays itself out beautifully and sometimes it doesn't. And either way, whatever the situation may be, you always have to keep your stop in place and take advantage of that in case we are wrong, or take advantage of this in case we are right and have a nice rotation here off of that 86 level. So either way, I mean, there is obviously you have to understand the risk and then trade it accordingly. And that's what we try to explain here when we are doing our education course. So nice rotation there against our 86, got right up to it. And these are nice trades where we don't have to take too much heat on any of these. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, but either case, we're always prepared with our stops in place. So we do have a number here coming out here in about it's 8:45, so it's about 13 minutes or so. Don, if you want to get on, you can get on with me for a couple here before I take off. All right. So nice rotation against the 86. Obviously, you have to have your orders in place there, right? For it to get, because it just nipped it and then came off, and then slid back down here a little bit. The next support level on the downside is down at the 65 area, which it's quickly coming down to. No opinions today, Don. Okay.
Okay.
No opinions.
Okay.
Keep yourself out of trouble. That was not my advice. That was not advice for me. It was advice for Don.
Well, so far the opinion has worked.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll try to stay out of no opinions.
Amen on that.
We come here open-minded, not understanding what the market's going to do because we are not smart enough. And if we can accept that, we will be better traders. That's all.
Yes, by far.
Yeah. So, all right. So again, there's a little number coming out here at 8:45. So in about 12 minutes or so. And that's about it as far as numbers are concerned. Remember, Friday, tomorrow, probably be busy in the morning and really, really shut it down in the afternoon as they look forward to the July 4th long weekend. So keep that in mind if you are trading tomorrow. It's going to be kind of, see what happens early on, and then kind of, I don't think much is going to happen after that. So, and then obviously Monday we're closed here. So the exchange is closed. I think Europe might be open, if I'm not mistaken. So that might, that might affect us on Tuesday, but not definitely not tomorrow. All right, so we got quickly got down here to 60 67. Yeah. And 67 and pop back up. So we just missed the downside by just a little bit there. Going back up here to our pivot area. So yesterday we kind of hung there for a bit, and then finally, it was actually a very big range yesterday, going nowhere. It traded both sides of our blue band, didn't go anywhere. It was just a kind of a non-existent day. It gets into a range and just doesn't do anything, and that's what happened yesterday. It was a big range, granted, but still, nonetheless, didn't do much. All right, coming back down. Be careful if you're going to do the 65 right now, because we did get down to 67, so it's a little bit more tenuous. But again, adjust by adjusting your number of contracts you're trading. Trade a little bit smaller in that area if you're going to take it. Again, we don't know which levels are going to work and which levels won't. All we can do is trade the opportunities. We believe that there are some good reasons why we have those areas, and sometimes, like I said, the market dynamics take it past them, and we just have to keep our stops in place. Other times, the dynamics work perfectly for us, and like the top end here, and things went okay. So, all right, Don, I have to take off, so you got the baton here,
Okay.
and I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Take care.
It easy. Bye.
Yeah, we're coming down to our 65. Like Saul says, if you're going to trade it, keep your stop in. Let's see. We are at well, if you're trading the 65, you're getting paid off. I did trade it if anybody's curious. I just snatched a couple points out of it and got out. Let's see, our next level down below our 65 is going to be the 57. 7. Let's see, what's that low? 62, 63 area. We're just twiddling our thumbs, waiting for the 57. We've been down to 60. We're down at the 57. Got the 56.25 down there. See if we can make it back up to that 62 range. If you got the 57, you're getting paid off. The next level below is going to be down to 45. We got a little bit of support here at the 55, not much, but some. All right. Let's see here. And if we can just get back to the 62 area. Which ought to be a realistic area to get to. Yep. Good. Now I had the 57. That's all I had. And also I had the 55. And I was just looking for 62, which it could possibly go all the way back up to 74. But, you know, I'm scalping. I'm not shooting for them great big old long targets today. So I am putting money in the bank. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Right now we're twiddling our thumbs. Our next level down is going to be back at, what's all I have back there, 45. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, waiting for something to. Four and a quarter. Looks like it's going to want to test that low again. No, I take that back. I got to look at the right chart here. Trying to get myself out of that hole. I misread something. That's what happens when you start doing things real fast. You look at, oh yeah, it's going to do this, and get yourself in trouble. Let's see, what was that low? 350. No, I was reading it right. No, I take that back. I was reading it correctly, but my charts aren't printing correctly. So that was but it's working out. Don't ask me why. It just, I'll take the mistake and get out. Sometimes when the market's moving real fast, I don't get every little tick on showing up on my chart. I don't know if it's a charge problem, the data feed provider. Just when I have something suspicious like that, I go back and refresh, and usually straightens everything out. Usually I like those little anomalies that pop up like that. It's kind of like, oh, that's a good little trade. Evidently the news that came out at 9:15 wasn't a big shaker. Our next level down is going to be at 45. We're kind of, like I say, there's a little bit of support here at around the 55, but we've been bounced off of it several times. I've got a little support at 49, 47, and 45. Just a little bit, not too much. But the next number down is going to be 45. And that 49 was quick. I'm just scalping a couple of points off the trades. I'm not for these intermediate levels. I'm not. I did not get filled on that 47 at first time to it. We got close, but not good enough. So I took my order out of the queue. I'm looking for the 45. Well, they don't. In this situation here, I'm playing mini levels, kind of levels between the levels, and I'm getting reactions, and they're worth playing. It's just you got to keep your stomp in, and you don't have a whole lot of time to make up your mind what you want to do. But we only got down to like 46, 47 and a quarter. And my order was sitting right there at 47. So I didn't get filled. So I pulled it. But that's what happens. You can't win unless you play. And if you play and you're wrong, you got to stop yourself out. Let's see. 57 back to the upside. I could see us getting back up to 57. We're coming up on 9 o'clock. We'll get to see what she wants to do. Coming back into that 49 area. I hope I'm not confusing everybody. I'm just throwing numbers out there that I'm looking at, I'm trading off of, and this, basically I'm done for today. I've had plenty of trades the first 30 minutes. And we're coming back down into that 45 area. All right, let's see what's going to happen this next hour here. I've got the 45, 44 area. Let's see where it. That 44 and 45 area or 43 should have somewhere between 41 and 45 should have gave us a pretty good bounce. So far, it's not materializing. So it's a good area. I had an order sitting at 41 and I didn't get a fill. So I did get the 43s. I'm out. I'm just, the reaction happened. I don't see anything that's, in order for me to really like this thing back to the long side, I need to get back above the 48 area. Other than that, I'll just continue doing what I'm doing here. Just uh yeah, Terry, here's some more support levels down here. We're at the 45. Next one's going to be 36 and 25. Let me repost the numbers real quick. Uh, if we can get back above 48, we won't need any more levels to the downside. I say that. I don't really know that. It's just uh, right now this market is down. Uh, that's kind of the reaction I was looking for off the 43. I was just trying to get it a little bit faster. Let's see what happens when we start scrunching this thing up a little bit. Let's see the 36. I think if we get below 36, see the 25. I'm gonna wait a little bit to see if we're gonna get on down there a little bit further because it's a chop zone down in that area. I see the 36s. We drop from the 36. We're going to end up down here in the 25 zone. We break that one. End up around 19, somewhere in there. And I mean, after that, it's just 19, 13, 11, 10, 8. They're all over the place. At 43, it's a good support area. You know, I have to look and study. Saul can just swing across here and look at these charts. Oh, we're going here, here, and here. Okay. This is where we want to, these are reaction areas. And when you first take his course, you know, he tells you how to do it. But it's like everything else. You learn how to do it by doing. He's just having a hard time with that 48. I don't know what happened. My charts, I don't know what I did. And we're above our 50. Guys, I missed that 45 long. I got my head in the clouds. Sorry about that. And we get back to Saul's levels. We got 45 and 57. I'm using Saul's numbers. Don't get me wrong. I'm using his numbers. And as the market progresses during the day, those numbers are still there. I never get rid of those numbers. But as the market's telling me it's doing certain things at a certain time, and I should expect a turn in these areas based on another chart, then yes, I will take them. And so a lot of these little areas like the 49 in the Saul had 55 and or 45. He had 57. I had 54 and 55 and 57. So my ranges are a little bit. So I'm looking at them as they're coming into these areas and watching what the price action's doing and I'm catching quick scalps out of them. Whereas Saul already has his order. There's when it hit, he's triggered, his stop's triggered. You don't really, once you do that, it's almost mechanical. You're just manually watching, and once you're in a trade, you have the option to move your stops around. We're coming back up to that 54 area, 55, 56, 57. And so you can see that there is a little bit of resistance there. It hit it and it bounced back off of it a couple of points. So those are just little reactionaries. And the more you do this, the better that you will get at doing all of this. My bias is to, at this point in time, it's kind of like I got a line in the sand. As long as I stay above 48, my bias is to the upside. Now, that's an opinion. That will get you in trouble. So if I'm trading to the upside, where am I going to get in at? Well, you got to have some areas to get in, some levels, some reasoning. Is this thing going to go all the way to back down and test that low again, or is it going to go all the way up? You know, we really don't know. But that's the first positive sign that I've seen, you know. So 2. I would have thought we'd have touched that 48. We got within a tick of it. You know, so, you know, we're not perfect. These are areas. And once you as a trader learn about the areas and how to trade the areas, then, you know, plus if I think this thing's going to 48, I may have an order sitting there at 48.50, 48.75. Do I think it's going to go below 48? I don't know. But at some point in time, you're going to have a spot to buy it and a reason to buy it. And my reason to buy it at 48, which says that we should go back up to that 65 or the 55 area. Well, it's doing that. But I would have felt better if we'd have come down to the 48 and then up. But we went up and came down close to it, then went almost back up to it again. So, I mean, the 55. So, now I can see it turn around and coming all the way back to the 48 zone. So it's just kind of like, okay, it's getting choppy now. In the morning, we don't have all of these ups and downs and sideways in there. We have pretty quick, pretty direct trading and off the levels. And that's why we like to trade first thing in the morning, because the levels work really well. As we move into the day, the levels still work, but they slow down somewhat because the market slows down. Where would let me see something here. I could see us going back up into the 60 zone. And I don't know, in the next 10 minutes, I don't know. If it's going to do something, I would suspect it's probably going to do it pretty rapidly. Now this thing could drift way on back down into the 45 range, 44, 45 area again. But we're not looking at a buy and hold situation. We're looking at getting into position. And for me, the worst part about taking a position is right after you put it on, because usually if it's a good position, it moves in your direction fairly quick. Not always, and sometimes when you get into a position, you got to say, look, I'm getting into this thing, but we may be here a while. And do I want to tie up my money? Do I want to tie up my time to sit in that position? When, for me, you're better off by getting out. Say you take a 4-point loss. It's $200. I don't know about y'all, but $200, it tears me up. I hate to lose it. But the position that I'm looking at is probably worth $600-800. So $200 out of $600-800. So I'm better off by, instead of sitting in that drawdown. And we never know if a position is going to work out 100%. Nobody does. There's no such thing. So get out, take that loss, whatever it is, 2 points, 4 points, 5 points, 10 points, just get out and look for a repositioning at the other end. And usually you make up all that you've lost, plus you usually double that. So if you lost 200, you're looking at making 400 out of the trade. So you made your money back, and you made another 200. And you didn't have to sit through all of that gut wrenching, hand wringing. When's it going to turn? When's it going to turn? And if you don't have enough, if you can't throw more contracts at it down lower, and that's not the best thing in the world to do either. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you can average down and get out, and in hole one, and you can do okay. But there's always the adage, what if I'm wrong? That's the most, to me, that's the most important part about all of this. And we as traders, we don't like to admit that we're wrong. Now's the time of day where you start to see targets on the upside, like the 60, 59, 60 area. We start to see targets on the downside, which I don't have yet. But when I turn over there and look, we're down 73 on the S&P, 315 on the NASDAQ, and 512 on the Dow. So for this thing to, it's not that it can't reverse and go up, but it's got a lot of headwinds to the downside. I am seeing targets could possibly be on the upside at all the way to 3809, on the downside all the way to 3719. Now, do I know where it's going? Have the slightest idea. But if we break something and get back above the probably 70s, we should at least test our pivot up there at 78, if not retest the high. And if we do that, then I would look for the 3809 area to go to. But if I'm in a trade and this thing is zooming up, I'm got my little stop. I'm just shoving it up right there behind it. And the first time it turns and backs off a little bit, I'm out. If I miss the rest of the trade, that's okay. I didn't lose any money. I didn't set through a drawdown. Once that machine starts paying off, I just keep, too many times, I don't know about the rest of you, but too many times I have taken a winning trade and turned it into either a zero trade or a loss, just trying to be right. When you're right is when you ring that cash register bell. That's when you know you're right. Right now, we're chomping around. I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. We may have to wait till 9:30 to see what this puppy wants to do. Right now, for me, my 48 is going to be key. We still need to get back down to that 44 area. But I don't have a reason to. I got intermediate levels all over the place, but there's nothing worth that I'm willing to take a risk on. Tuesday just tore me up. I was on the wrong side of this thing every turn all day long. So I can really tell you, don't do that. I hate to trade when I've had plenty of trades today, and they've all made money, and so it's kind of like there's no sense in kicking that dog. It may get up and bite you, especially for this chop zone, because this is where you will get into trouble. We're below a level, in between a level. I know that at 49, 54, 59, or this intermediate levels real quick. And you can look at it, it's how it's trading at that. And, 49 and then up to 54, 55. And Saul's got a number at 57. We went to 56.50 up there and stopped. We're coming up to the 50, 59 area. So you get to where you can look and see these areas that look, we should bounce off. We should do this. We should do that. So I've also got some at 59. We've got a blue band coming in there at 62.50 area. We got up to 58 and stopped. Coming back to that 54 area. I've watched these things tick my tick for so long. But sometimes you just get, for me, I just get the numbers all messed up, crossed up. Yeah, there's our 59. We got 62, 62 and a quarter area. We're going to be bouncing off that blue band. We've got a little resistance at the 59. Is it worth taking? Be quick scalp, but yeah, there's the next level up is going to be the 65 area. We kind of blew through that blue band pretty quick. We've had a little resistance up here in our 65 zone. I don't know how I managed that one. We're trading back at our blue band. It's trading at 61.75. So for you blue banders out there, you either had a choice of scratching the trade or selling the 65s back to it. This we know that we've got a little support now back in the 59 area. Yeah, if we can get back above that 65 area, we are subject to see back at our pivot, which is 78. Earlier, I said we should get back to 74. I'm going to go back and look, see what reason I had on there. Yeah, 74 is a good area. But I got to have a reason to get long. Yeah, we're back to our 59. These were areas that have set up, I guess, since about 5 this morning. And as this day rolls on, there'll be other areas that will set up. Yeah, I took that 60 to the short side and it blew through it. And I took the 65 and I covered back when we got back down into the blue band. Even though I know this downside target could go all the way down to 48, if not lower. So 1 minute I'm long, 1 minute I'm short. I'm just, and it does get confusing because I don't have a vision on what this day should do. It's going to have to prove itself. We're going to have to be trading a short-term direction, and I'm either going to have to be at a level or have a good pattern to get into and out of and a reasoning for going back to it. It's just, and if you walk in every day with that type of mindset, like Saul said this morning, no opinion, just trade what it's doing, and you have reasons to trade. And when the reasons don't work, just get out. It is that simple, and it's the hardest thing in the world to do. And if you can do it and you can master doing it day in and day out, then the rest is pretty simple. If you can keep from beating yourself up from I could have got more money, I could have got this. Hey, look, I don't care if you made a quarter of a point on the trade. You made money. You didn't lose any money. You paid commissions and come out with $6-8 ahead. It's just when you get in a trade and you don't take that loss and you take a $200 loss and you turn it into 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and I tell you what, Tuesday was a real good example. I mean, if you didn't stop yourself out, it just kept taking your money. And then there's days like that when the markets, it didn't take a genius to look at the chart and figure out, okay, we're going down. I mean, this thing has a lot of downward pressure. And it's like, all you got to do is look over at the three indexes and we're still all red. It doesn't mean that we can't go up a little while, but right now everything's to the downside. The pressure's to the downside. So it's got to gather all of that back before it can go up. I mean, 38.01 was yesterday's low. We're trading at a pretty good clip below that. Our open today was 22.75. So it's not that you can't. So when you think in those terms, we're just scalping these little swings. And usually, I tell you what the levels will do for you is usually if you notice that when we get into a level, it's pretty close to the bottom of those swings. Doesn't mean that it can't hit that level, bounce up just a little bit, and just take off and keep going down, which we all know that it can. So I'll quit. I'll quit harping. Sorry if I I get real passionate about, and I'm telling you, so I will follow my own advice. And I'm tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't always follow my own advice. I remember my daddy used to say, "Don't do as I do, do as I say. You'll be better off." And I'm going, "Yes, sir, that's a true fact." We know that we have a little bit of support at 54. I also have another blue band coming in at 53, which y'all cannot see. It's on a smaller time frame chart. So, I mean, there was if you're looking at a scalp at 54 with a short stop, it's probably there. Looking to get to maybe the 58. If nothing else, 56, 57. So, and I mean, they just show up. You're watching and waiting, and they just show up. That was a good price action trade. Had a reason, had a about area, take 2 or 3 points out of it and be satisfied. And it didn't go against you. That's the nice thing about it. You put the trade on. If it bobbled against you, it wasn't long enough to worry about, and off it went. Man, it went right to 58 and stopped. That's a nap. But you took the first trade, took 3 points out of it, and you did it inside a minute. And I had a reason to take that trade, and it was usually it was a pretty good reason. I still say I have that high that's from this morning up there at 86.25. And I don't know if it's going up there or not. I'm just looking at chart patterns, if it'll give me a reason to trade it, but it's going to have to get above something. We need to get back above the 65, and then then we're going to run into a little resistance up there at 69.70 area. Then probably again at 74, 75. We got a pivot at 78, 79. And I still have the 48 below. So, after a while, there becomes so many numbers. You can tell it's getting choppier and choppier and choppier. And it gets harder and harder to decipher what it's doing. And at that point in time, then you just kind of back up and either go do something else. We're coming up on 10 o'clock. These people are going to have to do something. They're going to either have to stay in it, position it. So between now and probably about 10:20, this market should start moving again a little bit. But I always equate that it's moving because of people closing out their positions. I don't think people are opening new positions. If they are, how many of them? I have no idea. If we knew that, we'd have tomorrow's newspaper today, as Saul says. I made the statement on Tuesday. I said, well, if you got enough guts, just buy one and hold it till we get back to that. What was it? Was it 39, 38, 39, somewhere in there? I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, it was 39.37. And look at where we're trading at now. Almost a full over 100 points down. So to take a position in the ES is just, sometimes it works out real great. But when it doesn't work and you're wrong, it gets very expensive very fast. So I keep harping on that and I keep bringing it up, but I hope if you're losing a lot that you back up and you reanalyze and say, okay, am I jumping in the trades too quick? Am I taking trades just, oh yeah, it's going. Well, we don't know where it's going. That's a fact. We're here to trade what it's doing. And we had reason to go. I mean, I might have an opinion. It's the upside, but the question is where do you get in at this thing at? Well, for me, it's fairly simple. I know that we have at 54, 55, 53 area, we have a little support in there. So if you put a trade on at, say, 54, you have to have 52 stop. You don't want it to get away from you. And then I'd have to have a reason, where do I think it's going to go to? Well, 54, maybe 64. I'd be looking to get out of this thing because I know that we've got at 65, we've got some, we had a level in there at 65, and I've got some more clutter coming in there at 65. I also should think that we would get back to that high of 66.25. But if you were able to buy the 54s and you got out at 64, that's a 10-point run. Who cares about that little extra point? Or if you bought the 54s with a 52, you could have made to it. it's nice to say I would have gotten the whole thing. Well, sometimes we do, and a lot of times we don't. The further this is a now watch it just go all the way up. We know that at 69, we've got a little resistance at 69 to 71, somewhere in there. We're tapping that 69 right now. Our pivot is there at 78. We're on the upside. I would look to buy this market, not as we're standing now in these intermediate zones. I'm trying not to, if I sell it, it's short and sweet. I mean, so if I sold the 69s, I mean, I'd probably be looking at 68, 67 area to get out. I mean, it would have been just strictly a quick scalp, and that's it. We got down to 67, but that's it. We should have come on down to 66.50, 66.75. I mean, if I was trying to hold it, there we go. If I was trying to hold it, I'd already have my stomp back to break even, saying, okay, you're either going to hit that little target real quick, or you're going to take me out at scratch, or scratch plus a tick. So I had a level, I had a reason, and it worked. And so if you approach this thing, it just kind of like the market, I had to wait till the market gave me something to trade. Right now we're in a small uptrend. It's okay to take those counter trend trades if you got decent levels, and the levels are working fairly well today. I mean, they're rotating 1 to 2 points, 3 points, 5 points. But as we move out in the day further, our rotations will tend to shrink up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you can just look at the bars on that 5-minute chart for the first 30 minutes from 8 to 9. That big downturn; those are pretty good sized bars. And from 9 to 10, our range is per bar has shrunk down quite a bit. But if we can get back above the 70, let's see, 70 and a quarter area, we should go test the 74, 75 area. Let's see, what's that high there? 69, 70, yeah, 70, 70 and a quarter to 70, 50. We've double topped right there. There we go. So if you got the 70 1/4, you're looking for about 74. Uh, so I've got my order to get out at 73 1/4. We got to 73. There we go. We know that we've got some resistance between 74 and 75. So we're going to stop a little bit and back off. I mean, this is price action trading. It just, did I know it was going to do this? No, but I suspected if we got above something, we would go to this. And so I had a 70 1/4 entry and I had a 66 out below that little swing. And I was looking for 74, but once I got triggered in the trade, the stop just came right on up to 70 1/4 and was sitting there. My target was already sitting there, you know, and we ran up what 74 something, 74.50, 75, went all the way to 75. That's we got 78 is our pivot, so we have to be aware of that. So there was a quick scalp to the upside on a breakout trade, a momentum trade. There's been several of those today, and they've all worked. One of the secrets to all of this, and it's not really a secret, there is a handful of trades. You know, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably about 6 or 8 trades that we use on a daily basis. And you have to be able to, besides the levels, that you have to be able to recognize when they're happening or when they're setting up and say, okay, if we get to here, this is where I'm going to get long, or this is where I'm going to get short at. And then where should it go to? Well, we know that we had a level up there at 78. I also know that I had resistance at 74, 75. So that's about where it went to. So it was a quick scalp, had a reason, had an area, had my stop, go. But if you'd have sat in that trade, not taking profits, thinking, oh, it's going to go to 78. Well, I don't rule 78 out, but we're going to back off of it for right now. And I can see us coming all the way back down to that low of that 5-minute bar, that previous bar right there at 65. I know that we've got a little bit of support down there at 65, 66. Saul's got a level at 65. There's a reason for it. I know now that if we're going to go up, we're going to have to get past that 73 area. But I guess the hardest part about all this is especially if you're a new trader, you want to trade, you're ready to make money. Well, we can only make it if we're in the trade when the market moves and the market gives us something. It's not like we can put on a trade like I think it's going to the bottom, so I jump up here and I put on a trade to anywhere in here. Well, it may go down and back up and go down and back up and up and down and up. Who knows where it's going to go? But there's opportunities in all of those ups and downs in there. We're going to run into back in here at the 64 area. There's a little support sitting there. And we're going to have to come back and test that low back down at 64 and a quarter. So we've got support at 64. Well, the chart's telling me that we're going back to 64, 64, 50, somewhere in there. It's 74.